Well, I would say this is the favorite segment of the show, but it looks like the Alabama segment is declining. Football season is over, but basketball season is here. And we have a top 5 basketball team, and that should mean a lot because there's a lot of big things coming up. First of all, I want to say about basketball. After this week, they're going to play Arkansas on the road this weekend and Texas on the road the next week. Number 1, Auburn. Number 15, Missouri. Number 14, Kentucky. 22, Mississippi State. At 4, Tennessee. At home, Florida. And then at Auburn, number 1. And it's Florida, number 6. And then at Auburn, number 1. They play 7 top 25 teams in a row. Has that ever happened in the history of college basketball? You had Florida have that run in football at the end of the year playing all those top 25 teams. Bama plays 7 top 25 teams. We're going to find out a lot about this team. But what we did find out over the last week is there's a lot of grit and gut in this team. They go to Mississippi State. They went 88-84. Sears, we all knew what was going to happen after that game. I called it. I changed my pick. First of all, shout out to Josh Hubbard. You saw Nate Oates talking to him after the game. The Mississippi State guard went for 38 points against Alabama, 14-28. Nate Oates is probably doing some recruiting of trying to get him over to Alabama the next year. But yes, Sears comes back, 17 points, 6 of 11, 3 of 5 from 3. Youngblood, 23 points. Grant Nelson, 15 points. Here we go again. The Stars playing well. Holloway, 12 points. Holloway's maybe Auburn's best player that came to outside of Broome. He's continuing to have a big year for Bama. They go on the road, beat a top 15 team. That's a huge staple win going down the stretch and a win they had to have. And then obviously this weekend, Bama played Georgia at home, crushed them, 90-69. Bama, when they play well, they can beat any team in the country. And I saw a couple of guys on ESPN talking about this of like, who's the team that if they play well, they can't be beat? It's Bama. They have too many stars, too much star power, and I think they're peaking at the right time. But Sears has 20 points, Nelson 16, Youngblood 10, Holloway 10. Again, they're finding their core. They're finding who their players are. And to me, Sears bouncing back with multiple 15-point games. He hits 2 threes in this game as well. It just tells you that he is going – this may be changed. A lot of times in seasons, there are the Tebow speech or whatever that really change a player. I think him getting benched for that second half changed Mark Sears. And I think that you showed this week, they go 2-0. They go to Arkansas this weekend. I think they win Arkansas and Texas, but then gear up. You got 7 top 25 matchups coming up. Auburn at home next week. We'll have the big preview next week for the Iron Bowl of basketball. I think they need to win 4 of those games. If you win 4 of those games, you're looking at a top 2 or 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. They're a number 1 seed right now. But to me, Bama's got to win 4 of those games. You win 4 out of 7 against 7 top 25 matchups on the road and at home. That'll get you really boasted and going to the SEC tournament. Can't mention Bama without mentioning the Senior Bowl. Very, I would say uneventful Senior Bowl for Bama, especially with the players they had. Dupree did have 2 receptions for 30 yards, had a 25-yard catch. Tim Smith made an impact on the line. I do expect Tim to get drafted. He had 2 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. Burnett punted twice for 86 yards. But again, the big story was Milroe. Milroe, like I said, I thought he should have came back for a senior year. I've said this multiple times in the show. But he goes down there to showcase his talents. 3 of 5 for passing for 21 yards. Had a big miss on 3rd and 9. 6 rushes for negative 12 yards. It just was not the week that Milroe needed. And I think he's now, you're talking 4 weeks ago, gone from a first-round pick to possibly a 5th or 6th round pick, and I hate that for him. Jalen's a great guy, been a great representation for Alabama. Again, I just thought he should have stayed 1 more year. I wish that whole end of the time at Bama would have been a little bit better because he was a junior. He did have 1 more year, and I think that he could have had a big senior year. I don't know why that all happened the way it did, but it is what it is at this point. But hopefully Jalen will go to the combine, have a big combine, and really up his draft status there. I think he'll run well. I think he'll be the number 1 quarterback in the 40. But to me, not the best Senior Bowl week. It was a tough to watch, but hopefully he'll bounce back again in this combine and down the stretch of his pro day. But you got to love what you're seeing from Bama basketball. Excited for these next 2 games, but really excited about the stretch for the Crimson Tide here on Tide and Tigers.